Hi guys, today I talked with Pavel Salas from the Cheer Foundation. He's Chief Growth Officer and we talked about CK, account abstraction, new features they're having on their network from signless transactions to reserving gas and so on and so forth. So super exciting. Ernesto can't wait anymore, so let's tune in.
Wave Act, the Web3 software company that understands what you want.
Hi Pavel, thanks for being here. It's really a pleasure talking with you. Um, First of all, Uh, I'm always curious about tech product people and what you guys are really excited about right now. What's going on in the tech world from your perspective? What have you seen that actually gets you excited and makes you even more motivated to battle the day?
Good question. Like in general, and I think that it's the theme about like this year and the year and a half, and it's going more and more. The whole wave of knowledge is more about that ZK stuff. So the zero knowledge is something that everybody is trying to work on, trying to build things there, because it gives you one of the biggest pluses or add-on on the blockchain solution. Because if we talk about blockchain, that means that all the information is there for you forever till the blockchain leaves, but it's also open to everybody. So the question and the battle is like how we can put information on top of the blockchain so it will live forever, but nobody will know except the people that should know what's happening there. So I think that the ZK is something really interesting that's going around now. And we're also working as Give Foundation and the guys from Give Technologies, one of the biggest collaborators to the VARA network. That's the network that we can talk about. Also working on some ZK solutions. So they're actually open. You can check it on GitHub. You can see that updates that are happening there. At the same moment, it also like goes on both sides. First, on the side of the protocol, where you can do some stuff related to ZK, and the other ones also on top of that, let's say on the gear palette, that's the smart contract execution. So you can work also with things like account abstractions, and so it will streamline the process of, let's say, opening accounts, make it faster, so you can use your Google account or Telegram account to open the wallet without all the processes that should be going forward. So there's several things that are actually preparing now, and I think this stuff will come soon live, and we will show and share our knowledge and our view on how the things could be faster and easy on top of the blockchain.
It's awesome. Well, account abstraction and CK, as you mentioned, are top of mind for most people in the space. And I'm just wondering, as we have seen a lot of account abstraction platforms out there most recently, um, what do you plan to do? From my understanding, you are trying to add some kind of intersection between CK and account abstraction here, or what are your thoughts on that? Or are they just different technologies that you plan to deploy as separate products?
There is different ways how we're thinking about that, to be honest. It's not like finalized yet. There are some ideas, and we're publishing some of this information in both. Will be published like a paper about how we see it and what people can do in terms of development. So I will not really dig too much there now, because it's still different hypotheses how it could be used. But in any case, obviously the case in combined with that, it gives you a lot of possibilities, and especially if I talk about ZK on the blockchain side, so it helps you a lot on the type of things and games where the information is valuable. So if we take any game, like let's not say gambling games like poker, but let's say domino, if you want to play the same thing, you don't want another person to know what you have on your hand before you actually do it. So we have several different things like Monopoly and some of the other games like Battleship that's already totally on-chain game. So in theory, you can go and try to find the sequence how it works. So with the ZK, this percentage is going out. Obviously, when we're talking about small games where the gain is less, you don't need to put this type of technology, because nobody, that then it comes to the economic sense, yes? So nobody will be trying to break a game with a code that will just is a game for fun. But when we're talking about game that can generate income, as as the reward is bigger, then it makes more and more sense. So then the
Abs-
ZKs becomes crucial.
Absolutely. As the attack vector or as the attack gets more interesting, the more skilled the hacker becomes that actually tries to
Oh,
challenge your product, right? So it's kind of uh, that ultimative consequence of good games, products, whatever you're going to build out there. And regarding CK, as we already touched that topic, what is, in your opinion, the most exciting use case that you see upcoming in the next couple of years once we tackle a lot of these current challenges zero knowledge actually is facing, like from proving time, verification time, these kind of things, or performance issues, and just making it production ready for certain more complex use cases. What do you think could those be, and yeah, what's your take on that?
one of the biggest challenges actually would become how to lower the cost of these ZK proofs, because now if you want to use it, it becomes expensive. And let's remember that if we're talking about Web2 world, that's easy because for the final user, it costs a lot of stuff costs nothing just because they monetize it in a different way. If we're talking about Web3, that actually mainly all the costs goes on top of the person that is using that. So if we want to make it mass adaptive, so that should actually find the ways how to lower the cost of the proofs and obviously the speed. But the speed, it comes to something that the different mechanics how you can actually make like a Merkle tree but in a different way, so that the final proof would be like small proof that unlocks a second proof and then unlocks and unlocks and unlocks. So you can be a huge, let's say, logical thing in top of one small proof, and if you trust it and then trust the next, you don't need to prove everything at the same moment. So it gives you speed, but from the other side, you also would be all the time challenged by the speed of the blockchain on which you want to put this proof. So if we're talking, say, about Ethereum, then the speed of Ethereum to confirm that this is actually this block is correct and the finality is there, and that can take time, especially if you want to have 400% to be secure. It could take up to like 8 to 15 minutes. So it takes time. If you want to prove it just in the first or second block, that it's seconds to be done. There is a lot of challenges there. I think it's still like we're grasping the part of the ZK stuff. So there's a lot of job should be done there, but it gives huge possibilities of anonymity, of putting real information that we don't know to disclose, but we want to be secure on top of the blockchain stuff.
So you basically see scalability being one of the main drivers of validity proofs, CK proofs over the upcoming years.
For sure.
Speaking about products and let's say things that people actually can use, you are also well versed in user experience, from my knowledge. So Web3, I think that's well known, has a UX problem, right? And Chia Foundation is doing lots of things trying to tackle that. What are some of the things that you guys are building that you are most excited about that you think could actually change the game?
Sure. Once we will, let's say a little bit of the history. When we were launching Vara Network, we launched the incentivized testnet, and we wanted to make it different. We didn't want to make it like any other testnet. We just go put up the validator or stake something, and that's all. So we decided to challenge the network in a way on which we can see the transactions, how it would react, and things like that. So we decided to build, and especially for the architecture that we're having on Vara Network, the actor model that allows us to, what it does, like in make long story short, is that everything inside the network becomes an actor. Doesn't matter if it's a user, if it's a smart contract, if it's a bridge, like everything inside is an actor, have the same capabilities to generate new program, to send a message, because everything is communicated through messages. So it doesn't matter if you're a user sending a message to program, a program sending a message to a user, and then the program sending a message to another program. So it gives you a lot of freedom of acting stuff. And what we did is we did totally on-chain games, small, easy games in the beginning, like tic-tac-talk, some car racing game. And then on the whole story was that the person goes, mints an NFT, and this NFT is becomes his like logbook of different activities that he's doing on top of the network. So when he's going to, let's say, first he mints the NFT, then he goes to play a game, like tic tac talk, and he wins or he loses, and this information is going into his metadata, and he can check what's happening there, and then the result goes into the leaderboard, and then from this leaderboard, the person can see how many points he's getting, and all this information is done without a backend. So the smart contracts are sending this information, and everything is like a smart contract thing. So, and then they go to play race car, and everything is like that. And we understood that one of the thresholds that became there is like the wallet. So we're working now. This is something that we couldn't for now phase on, but we have several products and projects that are building on top of us that are solving this issue. And one of them is actually a Telegram wallet that will be there that will make you allow you to open with your Telegram the wallet in clicks. And this was the first thing. And then the second thing that we understood while we were doing some additional on-chain games is that each time that you want to play a full on-chain game, I don't know if you ever played it, but each movement is a transaction. And from the user experience, it becomes that if we like picture it in a way, let's say the play game like chess, for example, Vara Chess is building now on the network, so you will be able to play with your companion or things like that. But you start playing and you move a figure, and even in a game like chess, when you expect that once you move something, you wait for the result, you move the figure, and then pop ups the wallet says sign transaction. You're like, okay, once. Then you move another figure, and then pam pam sign this transaction. You're like, okay. And even if you put like remember the code there, my password, and just for 15 minutes, and I will just play okay, accept, accept, accept. At some moment it becomes annoying because it breaks your interface. You're playing in one interface, nice, and then the wallet pops up, and you're like, ah, come on. And so we introduced something like silence transactions. Is the idea that we generate something like an additional contract on which you can allocate some gas there in the beginning. And then what it does is once you move and play, you say, okay, for this game, I allow to sign transactions so that it gives you the freedom of you sign once in the beginning of the game, allowing to sign transactions, and then you just play. Totally normal game like in Web2, but with the security of Web3, because each movement is still a transaction, it's blocked on the blockchain, it's signed by you on behalf of you. So this is one of the things that we introduced, and we think that that's something that can make the life easier and can bring more adoption. No, I don't think really more adoption, but at least can more gameplay, and people can get more fun playing Web3 games with this security. And then the second thing that we were thinking about was, okay, if we're talking about Web2 world, where any application mainly gives you free period of trial, it gives you the option of play something and then just pay for it or buying assets if you want. I'm just using the gaming concept because it's easier. But if you see any SaaS product, any product that you want, they have a free trial period of free application, and then you have to pay if you want to have additional services. So we decided, okay, let's try to mimic this idea in the Web3 because it has a really big threshold. Let's say for a person to play or to use any application, first what he needs to do and open a wallet, then he needs to go to buy some tokens of this product to pay for gas. Then he, if it's on the exchange, pass the QAC at least 1 or 2 days that it will happen. If it's without QAC by P2P, find somebody who will sell him one token, convert into this token. It becomes a madness. And the people actually, in our essence, were quite lazy. So unless you are really need this program, you will say, okay, later we'll do it, and you'll never come back. So the acquisition of new users becomes really complicated. And here we built something that's called vouchers. And this is the option where I'm building an application and I can say, okay, for specific users, I want to allocate the option of using my application for free, meaning I put some gas there, this wallet is connected to my application, and the person will be able to use my application for free, but just my application and a specific amount of time. So in this way, we're opening the door for people to go and try first the application. If they like it, then already you can say, okay, now you have to go and buy the tokens. And obviously for that, we're also like working with some on-ramp solutions so that you don't even need to go to an exchange. You can just slide your card there and buy the tokens and continue playing the game or using the application or using the DEX, whatever you want to use in this option. So it's streamlining the process. Let the user first try and then already say, okay, and now you have to pay.
Just going back to your Signless transactions, because I'm really excited about that part. Um, how is that different from the auto approving method or approach from Phantom, for example, like where you also say, hey, I want to have you auto approve all or auto sign all these transactions that are coming in. How are you guys different with your signless transactions?
To be honest, I didn't check how Phantom is doing that. There was different options how you can do it. I think that more than the whole story behind that, the interesting part is how usable it is. So what we actually do is that you pre-approve to a specific amount or to a specific project or product that you want to use, and that's all. So you don't pre-approve amount of transactions or nothing. You just put specific amount of gas or tokens into this small separate smart contract, and then you just go and execute. So there is it's streamless, it's easy, and it's effective in this way.
Stuff. And you also have like two other features, especially delayed messages, which is something I would also love to talk about, where you basically can send a transaction or sign a message and say, hey, I want this transaction to be submitted to the network at a later point of time. Could you put us through like what's the use case, what's the benefit of that feature basically, and like how are you doing it? Like how does it work?
Okay. Actually, the vouchers were, let's say, were born from that feature. And the first thing we came with the gas reservation stuff. That's actually the delayed message transaction thing that could be usable in different also perspective. For example, if we're talking about DEX stuff, that's really usable for making delayed orders. So you can say, I want to buy a specific token at specific price, and I put it now, like an order, and that's all. And that it will be there waiting for the time to come, and then it will be executed. So it helps a lot to mimic the idea of the sex into the DEX. We're actually having one of the projects called BrainDex or Ginkgo. What they are bringing is this idea into the world. So they're building a totally on-chain order book, first of all, and then they're putting these gas reservations into delayed messages so that you can actually put orders on the specific pairs, type, prices, or whatever you want, stop losses, take profits. Doesn't matter depending on the product and the part that you want to play. So this is one of the things. Second, obviously, utility thing is for things like, I don't know, if you want to talk about DAOs, you want to make the voting process there, you just send directly transaction in the beginning to start the voting, and the same moment you send another transaction to finalize the voting after 3 days. Obviously, it's not in days, it's in blocks that you count, but the idea is there that it automatically converts depending on the seconds. So it goes there, the transaction, and then after that, when the time comes, automatically closes the voting period. You don't need to send transactions in time. So one of the things, and obviously that also helps a lot in different gaming stuff if you want. But the biggest utility that we think and could be happen is actually on the DEX side, that you can play it in the way where you can put these orders out. And then from these delayed orders and messages actually came the idea of the vouchers because, okay, we can do it this way. Why not to prepare some of these gas there that will be sitting there and then be executed at a specific time? So all this gives you different options of play.
Quick intermission. If I could ask you for one single favor, it would be that you hit subscribe onto this channel because it helps our channel more than you can imagine. And the bigger the channel gets, the bigger the guests get. So thank you very much for watching and let's continue with the episode. Especially Texas, love that because it mimics what you already can do with the traditional banking system, right? You say, hey, I want to have a trailing stop loss order or something like that. And then you basically, with delayed messages can do something very similar, I guess. And that's
And
definitely
one of
super
the
cool.
biggest things, actually, sorry, I think that one of the biggest things that we're hearing now is that a lot of people would like to have these capabilities of the sex on the decks, but it's practically not possible. So we're stuck with something like the Uniswap version free, and it still pulls. You don't see the transparency of the liquidity that's happening there. You cannot manage it really like you would manage it on the sex thing. And this is one of the biggest advantages, bringing that into the blockchain space. So you can use it like a sex with all the information that you need, with the transparency that you want to have there, and just go and play.
But what other things are you guys working on that are not yet live?
And officially, we're not allowed to say
Okay,
what we're working
good.
on till it's not live. So we try to manage it a little bit in a different way because sometimes it comes to legal issues. So if you generate expectations that could involve as a token is tradable, it involve in the price of the token. But more, it's also part of like our culture. So we prefer to say we did it then we say we want to do it, we want to do it, and who knows if we will do it or we'll pivot or we'll find a different solution that comes there. So when it's practically coming to be ready, then we can start talking about that. Like we're talking about ZK now because we have several things already built and we understand where it's going on. So it's there. But one of the things, for example, that's also practically finalized and we will be launching soon with our partners is one of the bridges that would be semi-centralized solution that will bridge fast with a lot of different networks. And then also we're working on another one that would be like EZK1 for Ethereum rollups and things like that. So there are several things cooking back on the solutions, but obviously at the same moment we have a huge ecosystem going out. We have people that are building like Guardian protocol, that building a liquid staking thing. We have DEXs, two of them. One of them is actually the totally on chain DEX. That's Greenco. We have Savio that's bringing another type of liquidity there, infrastructural stuff. So there is a lot of stuff going on different stuff on DeFi and gaming things side. And I think that we will see new releases soon during the next 2 to 3 months. And I expect that in the next 3 months, we can see already building DeFi ecosystem on top of our network, as well as side game things.
Um, well, DeFi and GameFi, of course, are always big parts of most Web3 ecosystems, right? And you just mentioned liquidity being something that you guys, of course, are focusing on as well. And I'm just wondering because that's one of the major pain points people face, right? You have liquidity on one chain, you want to do something on another one, you have to bridge it there, or you have some kind of weird messaging protocols and some kind of other stuff that is going on so that you get some liquidity on another network. And I'm just wondering, without you telling me now that stuff is not released yet, which is totally fine and I respect that. Um, but what problems do you think in that regard do you already see that are being solved? Maybe even outside of the Cheer Foundation that you think are a great example of trying to bridge that gap, making let's say DeFi more user friendly?
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the DeFi in general. So we can see that practically the biggest liquidity in DeFi now is in Ethereum, and it was there for because it was actually born there and it's still there. And there is different ways how a lot of other blockchains try to suck it from there and put it into their own blockchain. Um, so it's complicated because it's like cannibalizing the same thing, going back, forward, and back and forward. And obviously, we also are thinking about how to change this wheel, because if you are playing in the same playground with other blockchains, it's just the same money that's running back and forward. Just when you give better APYs, they will go to you. So you can see that the rise of any new blockchain, doesn't matter, L2 solution, we can see Blast, we can see Base. They did the same. They just rise the APYs. Everybody's putting some liquidity there. They're waiting for once the next blockchain comes and say, okay, I have better APYs. Okay, let's go there. So it's uh, it's it's not bringing new blood, fresh blood into the system, and then you get stuck. So we obviously understand that we have to build everything that other ecosystem has to put it into our network, but we try to source new people, and I think that's why gaming would be really important. And we will be trying to bring Web2 people into Web3 through different tooling that we are using and mimicking practically the Web2 world into Web3 space. So once they become the adoption or adopters of Web3, then it's easier to put them to use other products. Because let's say if I'm playing a totally on-chain game, that means that this on-chain game have some rewarding points. These rewarding points are tokens, fungible tokens on top of our network. So once they want to change these tokens for something else, or buy an NFT, or change it for USDC, USDT, or VARA token, doesn't matter, then it could go also through a DEX. And then it generates additional volume from new people that's getting more and more acquainted with our whole ecosystem, especially if we do, let's say in the beginning, simple inside the game, and then they want to have better, more user experience, they can have this type of DEX. At the same moment, once we will finalize the whole idea of the DEX and it will be live, plus the bridge that can bridge to any other network, practically what we can expect to see is that this DEX having a lot of tokens from different networks will allow you to become an analogy of the sex. When you want to convert something, you just bridge it here, fast and easy, make the transactions, and then bridge it out in the way how you feel more comfortable. That's also one of the options that we're looking
So, yeah, then I just have one last question for you, mate. What are three things you would tell a young project founder if they want to start out on your network? Like how should they start? What should they focus on? What should they make sure they don't know that they do?
Okay. I think that, and this actually adapts to any network where you want to start or any project that you want to do. First, learn about what you want to do. Be passionate about what you want to do. Don't go and try to develop something because I think that can generate me money fast. It will not work really this way. Second, if you want to work with Vara, we're trying to give a lot of tools for any developer. So we have things like the Gear Academy. You can find it either on the network vara.network and then go into its developer section. You will see the academy there. Or you can go into gear.foundation and then you can go into the developer section. We see academy. You can go there. You will find courses, the basic one that will show you more about the theory and the architecture of our network and what the actor model is and how it works. Then the second, you have the intermediate course when you will be able already to develop more sophisticated products and the interaction of them with examples and tutors, and you will have also the support of our guys if you have any questions to ask. And as an additional small bonus that we're giving for the basic course pass, you will receive 50 USDC worth of Vara. So you have Vara tokens to start using some of our applications. And then in the intermediate one, you will receive, I think, up to $100 for that. So you can already play and launch your smart contracts and do whatever you want to do on the real network. Additional to that, we also have like a marathon. That's each month we start a new season of a hackathon, from which you will be able at the end to receive feedback from our judges. Second, you will be able to receive the prize pool. It's about 6,000 each month that's given. Third, that you will be able to get some traction and build the product into a specific level where we already can say to you, okay, now better go and apply to a grant, because you already like your project is more than just an MVP. It's already have the structure. You understand the idea. You understand the economical part, because a lot of the projects comes and say, okay, this is Web2, and I just want to put blockchain there. And then start asking like, where is the economy? Why people will use that? Like, what you will be judging for that? And are you sure they will? And all these questions we also ask during this marathon of the hackathon that we're doing online. And so that people sometimes come with one project after one season or two, they already like pivot a little bit the idea, they understood better the concepts, understood better the philosophy of Web3. And then we will already say, okay, guys, like stop going to the hackathon, just go apply for a grant, because you're ready. Like you have everything. You just need to go and start building forward and thinking more about not just on the code, on the security of the code, but also on how you put into the market, how you bring users to that, and which will be your go-to-market strategy. Because one of the things that a lot of people ignore in this space is that that's not just about coding. The code is just one thing, one part of the product. There's also another part of the product that's actually the whole strategy of how you put this product into the other people's hands to use. And the third, do they really need that product? How you can find the idea that make the proof of concept that actually it works. Just build the community, see how they react to your ideas, and all that is also part of launching a product into Web3. And this is something that a lot of people just neglect, thinking that writing free smart contracts, everything will be done. No, guys, like you have to think about the other companions, build teams together to bring live a real nice product.
Love that. I mean, uh, the best part of that is, or basically, there's even a saying that I really like. First time founders focus on product. Second time founders on marketing and sales. Third time founders on people. And I think you see that really well in the Web3 space, right? We have lots of first time founders that just build their smart contract or their D app and think they're ready to go and everyone will use their product. So that's definitely a really, that's at least what I can observe a lot. So thank you a lot, mate, for your time. It was really a pleasure talking with you. And yeah,
It's a
thank you
lot.
for watching.
The pleasure was mine. Hope for that the people that are watching this podcast will have that fun, and at least we have answered some of the questions. If you want, you can always follow us on our Twitter, Vara Network. You can find me on Twitter, Pavel Salas. And have any questions, we'll be happy to answer. We'll be happy to give some of the feedback that I have and on the experience of this Web3 world. And thanks a lot once more for your time.
Liked it? Yeah, me too. Pavel left us with some really cool, exciting insights today. So I hope you liked the episode as well. If you have some feedback for us, please leave it in the comment section below. Leave a like, subscribe to our channel. It really helps us more than you can imagine. So thank you for watching, and yeah, have a great day.
Wave Act, the Web3 software company that understands what you want.